On this edition of MU Report.
Someone who's militant, violent, has some backwards thinking and whatnot.
Recent terror attacks cause backlash against peaceful Muslims.
Plus, college students learn a heartbreaking lesson about responsibility.
If you're going to drink, you're going to drink, but you need to know your limits.
And people are asked to reach into their hearts instead of their wallets.
High five. It's a big high five and it's a free meal.
MU Report starts right now.
From the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, your home for complete Marshall University news. You're watching MU Report.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of MU Report. I'm Morgan Wright.
And I'm Rob Engle. In response to recent terror threats abroad, many Muslims in the United States have had to face more discrimination than ever. And now, after the shooting of 3 Muslim students at UNC Chapel Hill, the issue of hate crimes against Muslims has become a major conversation in America. I spoke with Muslim students here at Marshall about this backlash and what it's like being Muslim.
Stereotypes. First one comes to mind is terrorist.
Someone who's militant, violent, has some backwards thinking and whatnot.
When I was younger, I thought I was in a really unfortunate situation, being part of a minority. Also the type that is very misunderstood. When I first started covering my hair at 14, a man tried to take my scarf off my head to free me, basically saying. And that was, I mean, it scarred me. It still kind of haunts me.
You know, with Boko Haram in Africa, and you have ISIS, and I mean, just these groups who claim to be Islamic and the way they act.
It's barbaric, and it's not anything like what we live by.
It's not people trying to be harsh or ignorant. It's just not being exposed to it. And I think when people get exposed, they suddenly realize that we have very similar lives and very similar values and morals, and disagree in just the little stuff.
My outlook on it has completely changed. It's an opportunity for me instead of an unfortunate thing, Most of the people that I meet say that I'm the first Muslim that they've ever met. And so that gives me the chance to give them an impression of what a real Muslim is like.
You could be a young Muslim woman wearing a hijab, and someone looks at you funny, not even talks to you, just looks at you funny. And you recognize that the person may be curious. Engage that curiosity, talk.
This is a 2-part solution. To educate yourself, but educate yourself with an open mind. You don't have to agree, but you have to understand. The other part that I would say, a lot of the blame is on Muslims too. Letting these idiots in the Middle East, ISIS, and everything that's going on in Paris, even here, control the media. And we're allowing the media to portray these horrible Muslims, and we're not willing to speak up.
There's a verse in the Quran that says that God will not change a qawm, a group, a community, until they change what's inside themselves. So when we see problems around us, it's because we have problems within ourselves.
According to the FBI, hate crimes against Muslims are 5 times higher than they were before 9/11. And with this wave of Islamophobic incidents after the Charlie Hebdo attacks in Paris, this is a situation that commands international attention. Malak and Shahid remind us this is a conversation we need to be having so that jihadists are not conflated with peaceful Muslims.
College students and alcohol, 2 things many people are used to hearing together.
However, with the deadly turn of events, a national eye has been turned to the safety of college drinking.
MU Report's Kayla Marcum is in studio. And Kayla, you talked to experts about how much is too much.
A lot of concerns have been raised over college students drinking since the death of a WVU student, Nolan Burge. I did some research to see how the professionals recommend to deal with underage consumption. College and binge drinking, 2 things often linked together. A study conducted by the NIH in 2012 showed 40.1% of traditional college students participated in binge drinking. So while pursuing a higher education, Chief Terry of the Marshall University Police Department says students need to learn when enough is enough.
We can tell you not to drink all day long, and that's not going to. If you're going to drink, you're going to drink. But you need to know your limits.
The recent death of a man at West Virginia University due to alcohol poisoning has hit home with some brothers of Alpha Tau Omega, who say while it would be false to assume fraternity brothers don't drink together, their fraternity values and friendships keep each other out of trouble. They even employ a person they call the sober monitor.
They do a good job. If they see somebody maybe drinking too much or drinking too fast, they pull them aside and let them know, you know, take a second off or whatever.
Chief Terry says that while there have been no deaths due to alcohol in his time at Marshall, there have been a few close calls.
But several times a year, we have to transport students to the hospital for intoxication because they're above the safe BAC limit.
To reach a blood alcohol content of 0.08, it would take me 2 of these cups of beer in 2 hours. To reach a lethal BAC of 0.49, it would take 8.5. For students to get an idea of what a good limit for them might be, they can visit dui.drivinglaws.org. And if you are going to be out to drink, be sure to always stay with people you know and not to accept drinks from strangers. In the studio, Kayla Marcum, MU Report.
Thanks, Kayla. For most police officers, their office has flashing lights and sits on 4 wheels. The fleet on Marshall's campus just got a major upgrade, and as MU Report's Haley Wade shows us, it's all designed to keep students safe.
These are our new cruisers. They're 2015 Ford Interceptors. They're brand new.
Out with the old and in with the new.
Our fleet was getting old. We lost one vehicle to a fire, and the other 2 were getting to the point where they were unsafe. It gives us a safer vehicle for emergency response. We got a little larger vehicle. We have to have the vehicles patrol campus to lots and things of that nature.
Something as simple as a little more space will allow officers to stay more prepared, leaving more room for things like first aid kits and jumper cables. The new fleet will not only help to save lives, but to save money as well.
Our fleet was getting old, had over 70,000 miles. So once we determined, you look at them, once it costs more to operate them than they're worth, that's where you fall into that.
With safety, savings, and a better workspace, the new cars should be around for another 80,000 miles. Police spend a lot of time working in their cruisers, which mean their cars turn into their workspace for the day.
It's a lot easier for officers to get in and out of. They have more room. It's just an all-around better workspace. I mean, police officers don't have offices per se. Our cruisers are our office. We're spending majority of our time in the cruiser.
Haley Wade, MU Report.
Thanks, Haley. MUPD bought the 3 new cruisers after having the old fleet for 9 years.
The first time most students really get experience in their professional field is in college, but MU Report's Jessi Starkey tells us about a group of high school students who are already learning to be professionals.
The morning bell at Huntington High rings at 8 a.m. and students are in class.
But for Miss Hampton's broadcast journalism class, their pencils are down. The lights go up and they trade their books for scripts.
Hi, welcome to the morning show. I'm Lily Dyer.
And I'm Franklin Norton.
The Huntington Highlander News is completely student-run, and while most kids check papers in class, these kids are checking mics.
Check. 1, 2. All right, cool.
It's hard at 17 to find out what to do after school, but James Holley says he's glad he decided to give working the camera a shot.
Yeah, I definitely want to go into broadcast journalism. It's made me appreciate how hard it is for people to do the work that they do that you don't really notice when you watch TV and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In high school, it can be hard to find a place. Lily Dyer will tell you her place is being the face of her school.
Well, it definitely feels pretty cool to be kind of seen by the school. I don't care to really be in front of other big groups of people.
But being the face of the high school news comes with its hard work.
Coming in this class, I thought that I'm gonna fail. I thought that I was just not gonna know anything, but I've learned so much. I've learned how to do an actual show. It's just so amazing, the things that we've learned.
Communication, hard work, and responsibility are all things that this young news team is learning.
It definitely shouldn't mean that it's hard work, but I enjoy it so it doesn't feel like a job.
After all, classes and the Huntington Highlander News starts at 8 a.m. Jessi Starkey, MU Report.
Thanks, Jessi. The Highlander News is open to all Huntington High students and is offered every school year.
Paying with cash could be considered a thing of the past.
But paying with love is what some customers are doing at McDonald's across the country.
MU Report's Tim Carrico was at one Huntington McDonald's where a simple act of kindness could be cashed in for a free meal.
You've been randomly selected to pay with love today.
Acts of kindness are spreading through area McDonald's.
High five them. It's a big high five and a free meal.
Take a selfie with one of the employees and with Ronald McDonald.
Selfie.
Now through the 14th, the restaurant is randomly selecting customers to pay for their meal with love. Several customers walked into the Huntington McDonald's to buy McNuggets or a Big Mac, but for Shannon Westfall, she was in for a big surprise.
I wanted to tell you that I love you so much. I saw the commercial on TV last night and I wondered if they were doing it. I was very shocked. I didn't know. I thought she was kidding at first.
The total says that she has to dance right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
McDonald's is hoping the ad encourages goodwill and puts smiles on not only the customers' faces, but employees as well.
I think it teaches people to be humble. I enjoyed it because if I owned a restaurant, I would do something like this just so people can get the experience of being humble and genuine towards each other.
You don't have to pay, okay?
Yeah, you've been selected to pay with love. That's why you had to tell him what you loved about him.
I'll say it again.
It's a little lovin' that's making young and old pay with smiles. In Huntington, Tim Carrico, MU Reports.
Telling me what you love about your son.
Thanks, Tim. Customers were asked to participate in this event randomly.
If you haven't seen the movie Pitch Perfect or the show The Sing-Off, you might be living under a rock. A cappella groups are popping up all over the country, including here on campus. I had the chance to sit down with Marshall's group to talk about how they developed this pop culture phenomenon into a class.
It has a certain draw, a certain appeal.
Melodies echo through Smith's Music Hall, but there's a new sound making its debut.
This is all pop music, modern music, arranged for a cappella voices and beatboxing.
No instruments, just voices. The new a cappella ensemble in Marshall's School of Music is drawing students in for a more captivating experience.
We get to be more loose and we don't have to be so uptight.
When you think of choir music, you don't normally think of Taylor Swift or even the Beatles, but this ensemble wants to do something that excites them and excites those around them.
It's a lot of fun, and it's just, it takes a different type of performer to be able to do this type of music.
These performers embrace their new sound when they're singing and when they're learning.
Just their energy, the look on their face when they see something and hear something for the first time, it's great.
The audience loves it, and so do the performers. This is the only class on campus where students get credit to sing Billboard Top 100 hits. And another interesting thing about this class is that the constructor, Mr. Ray, actually composes a lot of this music himself.
Yeah, what's interesting, I actually have a few friends in the class, and they have the opportunity to compose some of the pieces that they're singing.
And our own Jessi Starkey is actually in the a cappella class, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, seems like a great organization to now have on campus. And that will do it for this edition of MU Report.
You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the news happenings in Huntington and on campus. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.